of things. Chris Barnes, Captain America, looking to pull out to a 5-point lead over Team Europe. 12-8 the current score in favour of the three-time winners of the Weber Cup on the bounce, Team USA. Dominic Barrett really hoping he can put in a captain's performance here and get a point on the board for Team Europe. Let's hand you over to Matt McNeil and Phil Yates.
And we must remember, at their height, the Europeans led 6-3. So the USA have won 9 of the last 11 contests.
Yeah, Phil, we see the players warming up here. This is, I think the last match is one that slipped away from the Europeans. They'd been averaging 260 plus, and the Americans have just been outscoring them. There they had an opportunity. The Americans only shooting 235, but Thomas Larson really finding the struggles there to navigate the lane and create a good ball reaction. It was just not what they were looking for, but I feel this match is going to be a little different. I think Dom has the edge over Chris Barnes, but we'll find out in 10 short frames.
Well, joining us in the commentary box is one of the stars of this session thus far, Chris Vi, with those 8 consecutive strikes to wrap it up in a very, very big singles match.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, Chris, you've been really coming through so well in the clutch. What's been kind of the change for you as a growing bowler to come through in those moments?
I think it's just a bit of experience. I'm 29, so I'm not the youngest guy in the world, but at the same time, I haven't been bowling professionally for that long. So I just think it's been getting my feet wet for a couple years and, getting into those positions more and more. I feel a bit more comfortable now.
Well, don't shoot the messenger, they say.
Yes.
That's the start you're looking for if you're Dom Barrett. Chris Barnes is going to have to be on his best here.
I think we can safely say that was not one of his best.
I was in the stands as a fan in 2019 at the Mandalay Bay when Oscar Palermo put one in the gutter, and I thought there for a fleeting second we might be seeing a repeat.
This is an interesting strategy by Chris. We see him using a hustle wine, which is a lower end, less reactive bowling ball. I guess he's trying to use speed and touch to navigate this pattern, but a really tough open frame there, especially in the count department. 6 pins up on the deck. Chris only managing to get 1.
Yeah, we kind of walked through that strategy. Just his heavy ball roll, it's very end over end. Just naturally, the ball wants to hook a little bit earlier. So those strong balls just haven't been going through the pins very well for him. So we figured if, we can use one of those weaker balls that help it get down the lane a little bit, just with a touch of surface, we can, get the ball to actually go through the pins a bit better. And it did in the practice shots. Just not one of his best efforts there. Dom has quite a good look on this pattern. In our match, he threw some really, really good shots, a couple of off hits that could have carried for him. So Barnes knew coming in he was going to have to bowl a good game here. So that obviously not the start he's looking for, but
he is Chris Barnes.
Absolutely. A little bit of a better effort there, and that's kind of what our game plan was. You can actually see the ball driving through the pins there. That's just kind of the matching up with the correct ball in the correct part of the lane. So see if he can put a few more shots like that together.
That's point out. Oh, okay. Maybe we close, but just get 9.
The standard of Dom Barrett's bowling against Chris Vi, well, it was superb. He finished off with 5 consecutive strikes himself, but just came up short. In this one, though, the European captain, right now is doing his stuff.
Yeah, I think Dom has an incredible look on this pattern. You can kind of see why he threw himself out there twice in these singles matches, because he does have such a good look. So let's see if he can take advantage of that. Another really solid effort there from Chris. Just going to have to keep making shots like that to keep applying the pressure back to Dom.
Can't help but think, Dom Barrett started out his global journey, and he's had so much success in this game at the very highest level. Started out going to a local lane close to his house on a Saturday morning. Here we are on a Saturday afternoon, and he's leading his continent.
Great shot there. Yeah, I mean, Dom's locked in. When you got to see, you see a little bit of area, you got a little bump to the right, a little push to the left, your ball's going through the pins the right way, loosens the swing up, and suddenly you're striping them. So you can kind of see that with Dom right now.
Dom has definitely been feeling it today, as Phil alluded to, 267 in his earlier match. Also coming through in the Baker match. I really feel like Dom has his feet under him very well the last day and a half here at the Weber Cup. Chris Barnes certainly has his hands full here, as he's looking at a perfect start so far by Dom Barrett.
Really solid effort there. Ball just got a little bit forward, seeing that 10 pin stay up. It's kind of been Chris's nemesis so far this week. Ball's just really not quite driving through like it did the last two.
Chris knows that one was close. Just did not want to see that 6 pin wrap around that 10.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to give Dom too big of a lead here, especially with the look that he has. So Chris knew that was a big one.
That much. You don't have to move as fast, probably, on this pattern.
Also, while we have a little break here, I want to give a shout out to Chris's son Troy and his wife Linda. I know they are watching, so I want to say hello. Ryan as well, but I know Troy is battling some health issues right now, so we love you, Troy. We know you're going to pull through it, baby.
That made such a difference.
On the ball of Dominic Barrett coming way in from the left-hand side of the screen, throwing the pins around. Just getting that 10 pin to fall last minute.
Yeah, a little extra love. But you can kind of see, with Chris's shot and Dom's shot there, a little transition starting to happen where that ball is just picking up a bit earlier, using that energy a bit earlier, so it's not wanting to go through the pins the proper way. So we'll see the players make some adjustments here and see if they can get their ball to make a little more contact with that 8 pin as it goes through the pocket.
Certainly, and everybody here sending our best wishes and love to Chris, Linda, Troy, and Ryan, Barnes family, and hope, Troy, you're feeling better already and on the road to a quick recovery.
I think we're okay with saying that's a little bit of a senior carry. I think he would agree with that one a little bit.
Senior bird dog.
Yeah, as you just mentioned here on the mic, yeah, a little senior bird dog. But I was mentioning to him earlier, I was like, with Doherty on the team, he's kind of avoided the old man jokes this week, so I don't know, maybe we can throw some at him.
Well, generally as the age goes up, the speed of the messengers comes down. Chris Barnes at age 51 had his first success on the PBA 50 Tour this year.
That one was quite a bit left for Dom. To actually see that one lay there and hit the pocket, that's probably a pretty good sign for Dom. I mean, not being his best effort by any means, and it's still hitting the pocket. He's got a little bit of a lead, so, doesn't need them all to carry, but...
Yeah, just watch that six pin just kind of fall sideways into the gutter. That just means the ball not hitting with full potential. Dom's going to have to change his plan of attack. He's going to either have to increase his rotation, move left, maybe decrease the ball speed, or all three. All the small nuances that go into being a professional bowler.
Yeah, absolutely. And each player likes to do it a little bit differently as well. And that's kind of the art of the sport of bowling. You can kind of do it your own way.
And this is probably one of the greatest artists we've seen in the last 30 years of this sport, Chris Barnes.
And see, that one slapped the 10 a little bit harder. Just was able to increase the rotation a bit, actually fed it to the dry spot of the lane a little bit quicker as well. So you could just see that ball store some energy.
Well, with a strike, Chris Barnes is back in the ballpark.
Yeah, he's cut what was a 33-pin deficit at one point in time down to just 12 pins with 4 frames remaining. And this is a point the Europeans desperately, desperately need. And they're putting all their hopes on this man's shoulders right here.
That was a much better effort from Dom there. Really good. Fed that ball all the way to the dry. Ball just doesn't want to continue through the pins quite well. So it'll be interesting to see what he does here because, like you mentioned earlier in the telecast, once you get this late in the game, it's really hard to just blind ball change. I mean, I know these players know their equipment as well as anyone. It's still very gutsy to do it this late in the game.
Dom cleaning up the 10-pin, but it's not a strike on the board, and with a strike here, Chris can pull the USA within 1 pin in this game and really get the momentum going his way as Dom has been struggling to get the 10 out his last 3 attempts. Chris can really put it on him right here with the strike.
All right. I mean, this is kind of what's been happening today so far. I mean, Europe's kind of, put a few strikes together to start games, and then transitions happen, and they're struggling to keep up, and that's kind of when we've been, getting back on the gas. So it's kind of interesting to see these matches kind of continue to play out the same. Solid effort there from Chris.
Just unbelievable still at age 51 how he is able to create the power that he does, and that is just through probably one of the best fundamentally sound games the sport has ever seen, and those fundamentals have got him back to within 1 pin of Dominic Barrett. With just 3 frames left, and Dom's going to have to go to the whip here, I feel, just to get that 10 pin out. Give it everything he has.
And that's kind of the issue if you do kind of go to that whip and you really start trying to get around the ball to create some down lane motion. Sometimes it can miss the middle part of the lane and never slow down, where it just gets behind that head pin. And unfortunately, leaving a split there, I felt that pain this week.
Dom really felt, I feel, that that ball was going to get back and go through the pins, and it just laid there like a Persian rug.
Yeah, and I saw him after his last frame walk over, talk to Thomas Larson, and was kind of taking a look at his bowling balls that were laying off to the side, possibly thinking about a ball change. And Dom's one that he's never scared to make a ball change, no matter what time it is. So I would definitely not be shocked if a different bowling ball went down the lane the next frame.
The personification of concentration. Tremendous ambassador for 10-pin bowling, Chris Barnes. And what a tremendous player. And in this situation, on countless occasions. Can you believe it stayed?
I mean, it's a great effort. That's really all you can do. Sometimes the pins just don't quite agree, and it's getting pretty darn close to falling over there. But
while shades of Tom Doherty in the earlier match, those pins need about 6.5 degrees to tip over. That just about as close as you can get it.
Yep, so couldn't take full advantage of the break that Dom gave him there, but was able to clean up the frame and actually take back the lead with 2 frames here to go.
That pin staying up. This will be alien to you fellows, but that was like when in a game of cricket you hit the wickets and the bails don't fall. It happens.
I think just make two more there.
I told you it was alien.
I'll believe you on that one.
I'm Googling what a wicket is right now.
And just an unbelievable break. I mean, that's about as good as you can do off of a couple of misses, and then try to do something, and it splits, and then you come back and make probably one of his best shots of the game and get an unfortunate break at a really bad time.
Well, all the entry angle that Dom is using, that ball just drives right through the heart. Showing no respect for those pins, just drives right past the 9. It's 9 spare for Dominic Barrett in the 9th frame, and finding himself and his team in somewhat dire straits. Chris Barnes stepping up with the hammer in hand here.
Yeah, I feel like if he's probably thinking to himself, making another shot like he just did that last effort there. I mean, that was really, really good. So I think he's going to take that more times than not. That one is a little left, but it just kind of creates that different entry angle into the pocket. Kind of gets that splasher going where that 5 just takes out that 7. So really, really good shot there. And that pretty much is forcing Dom to strike to really, have any hope left in the match.
Well, if Dom strikes here, he forces the hand of Chris Barnes to at least fill a frame.
Yeah, exactly.
So very, very important. Dom strikes here. He keeps the Europeans' hopes alive. Anything but, and it is a 5-point lead for the Americans.
Dom gave that one the old turnaround. I mean, it's kind of like the that fill ball in the 10th frame when you're struggling. It always seems to strike. So no matter how good or how bad you throw it, it just kind of just finds a way of striking. So he definitely keeps the pressure on. It's no guarantee for a mark here, but the way Chris is bowling this game, I like his chances.
The thing is to avoid his last visit being unlike his first.
Mark here locks it up.
As you can see, as the game progressed, he started to get a little bit energy, and you see that 6 slap out the 10. So fantastic effort there from Chris.
Wasn't it just emphatic exclamation mark with the strike there? In the captain's match, it is Barnes who prevails.